He who the Most High frees, he is free indeed. The Most High uses who he chooses. And a trend for the Most High is to use people that this world deem unnecessary. That this world puts to the side and deem they're outcasts. Not accepted by society standards. Looked at as the black sheep of their family. They buck against the system. Many don't understand why they've always done these things. But it's the Spirit of the Most High that was indwelling in those individuals from the time that they were conceived in their mother's womb. Because we were with Him at the beginning. He chose us from the beginning. Therefore we have the eyes to see. Therefore we have the heart to receive. We had the ears to hear. Having the ears to hear is important. Because if you refuse to even listen to the voice of the Spirit of truth, then how do you know you're following the Good Shepherd? Honestly, how would you possibly know that you're following the Good Shepherd when you won't even give ear? When you won't even lend your ear to listen? At least listen to the information. Don't just outright reject it before you even hear the conclusion of the whole matter. That's ignorance. And I'm sorry to put it so bluntly, but that's the absolute truth. It's pure ignorance to trust in those that call themselves the authority. And you blindly sit there in front of your TV, which is a brainwashing mechanism used by the so-called elite in order to hypnotize you and program you. They have patents for it. It is a fact. But you don't even want to look at some information other than the things that you've been taught all of your life. And you think that that is okay. You think that the Most High is protecting you from corrupt information when you have literally grasped onto the corrupt information. You've grasped onto the corrupted information and you hold tight with the death grip to it. Your so-called Holy Bible was pieced together for you by heathens, by Gentiles, by those that call themselves, setting themselves as the authority. Just to think, back in Yahushua's day, they were already in captivity. They were already dealing with Roman and Greek captivity back then. It's supposedly 2,000 years later. And we don't think that it's the time of the end. The Father then woken up His people, then packed us full of His truth. Have totally changed my life around. You think it's all a coincidence? You think it's all to no avail? That I've chosen to present my life as a living sacrifice to the Most High? To stop following after my own ways and my own thoughts? To listen to the Spirit and be led by the Spirit? That's the only way I knew that the Bible was corrupted. Because I was taught everything that's in it is the absolute Word of God. I was taught that the Bible is the infallible Word of God. Well, how can it be so when it has so many things that say something contrary to each other? Outright tells us what our diet is to be, and it was so. What the diet was to be for the animals, and it was so. Everything that He said that was so is still in existence to this day. The sun is still in the sky. The moon, all the ordinances, the stars within the firmament. The grass still grows. The animals still reproduce after their kind. The flowers still bloom in their season. The trees still bloom and blossom in their season. Everything is still held under the law of the Most High, the Almighty Eternal Law. They're all following in accordingly. They're following it accordingly. Everything except for the so-called meat. Everything except for the diet that was given in the beginning. When I bring forth these messages, I have a mirror that's looking right back at me, talking right back to me. And it reminds me, hey, you're not perfect. You still got things you're working on, so this is not coming from a judgmental standpoint. People need to understand that. People need to understand that the Most High works through who He wants to work through. He picks and He chooses His servant. But the servant that He picks and chooses will obey His voice, because they are His sheep and they hear His voice and they will not hear the voice of another. It works hand in hand. Hand in glove, foot and shoe. There's no coincidence that He came to me in 2017 and then again in 2019. There's no coincidence that He's been so good to me lately. Even after I've lost my car, He's gave me favor with people. He's gave me my heart's desire of a home-based business where I don't even have to leave my house in order to make money. It's fantastic what the Father is doing for me in my life. And it's all Him. And I give all praise, honor, and glory to Him. Because it is He that gave me the heart to receive and the eyes to see and the ears to hear. Therefore, in my obedience, He rewards His people. And there's a different type of reward than how Satan rewards his people. With fast money, cars, and fame, and all of these things that are really insignificant when it comes to spiritual matters. Everything that the Father has given me has already been within me. And all I have to do is unlock all of these things within me. With the leading of the Spirit. Alright. Anyway, that was the word for today, man. You know? How in the heck are you going to know that you are hearing the Good Shepherd when you block out His voice? When you won't even give ear to hear His voice, so that you can compare His voice with the voice that you've been hearing all of your life. If you've only been hearing one voice all of your life, then you are definitely not hearing from the Good Shepherd. You've been seduced. You've been deceived. Please, people, deprogram. Stop watching television. It corrupts your mind. There is a patent. These devils have patents, okay? They have patents on the alpha, beta, delta waves. Like all of that. They patented it. They patented how to brainwash you through the television, through the live vision. You may think that it is a conspiracy theory. You may think that it is a wild assumption. Think whatever you want. And I'm not going to say what came to mind, because I'm not trying to insult nobody. But people, start thinking. Start using the brain that the Father created you to have. Stop letting these people tell you what to think, because that's your whole reality. You don't realize it, but that's your whole reality. You believe what they tell you through the live vision. You may think that you have a choice by the different channels, but ultimately they're in one accord, and they're there to deceive you. They're all telling you to freaking wear a mask. They're all telling you to get the vaccine. Whether they have different narratives on it or not, they're all telling you the bottom line thing. None of them are telling you to eat vegetables and get your minerals. None of them are telling you to get out in the sun and absorb the vitamin D. None of them are telling you to drink high alkaline water, to pay attention to the type of water that you get, because a lot of the water that this wicked ass government produces to us and sells in the hood stores, it's very hard to get decent freaking water in a hood store. You're not going to get a decent high alkaline water in a hood store. You have to go to a white people's store for that. But pay attention to the water that you're drinking. Make sure that it's a high alkalinity, not acidic. Because everything that is around you is acidic. The food that you eat is acidic. If they really cared about you, if they really cared about the American people, here in America, let's just focus on America. They would close down all these fast death restaurants, all these so-called fast food restaurants on all these corners, especially in the hood. They will close them down because they'll realize that that is the worldwide pandemic. Look at the obesity rate. Look at the heart disease rate. Look at the death rate. Look at the cancer rate. All of these things have increased as it pertains to the diet of the average American. Very little research will show you this. How come none of them news channels are telling you to stop eating fast food? No, they offer you donuts. Free donuts with a vaccination card. This world is freaking asinine. And I'm sick of it. I'm tired. Because people just don't want to hear. They don't have the ears to hear. They don't have the eyes to see, apparently. And they ain't got the heart to receive because they believe in so-called authority. They believe in the so-called authority. So what can I do? All I can do is be obedient to the leading of the Spirit and what the Most High tells me to do. So these videos will be out there. It doesn't matter that they're being ignored widely, pretty much. You know, I didn't do it so that I could blow up overnight. And I didn't do it so that I can blow up at all, period. I did it because of the reasons I've already stated. The changes in my life. The fruit that's been produced in my life. And the fact that these words, these things is deep in my spirit. And I have to have an outlet. I gotta have an outlet for it. And I was talking off, my friend's ear. Former girlfriend. She's my ex. And the reason she's my ex is for numerous reasons, but one of the reasons is because I want to obey the voice of the Most High. I don't want to no longer engage in things that I know is wrong against Him. So anyway, this is what I used to do. I mean, she's known me for about 11 years. 11, 12, going on 12 years. She's known me for a long time. We're about 12 years now, going on 13 years now. She's a Gentile. And back then, I didn't look at ethnicity and, race and whatnot. I was programmed, just like everybody else has been programmed. And back then, I hated myself. I didn't even love myself, And I'm getting two things mixed up here. I don't want people to take it the wrong way of what I'm saying. But back when I met her, I didn't love myself. I had been programmed to hate myself, So I made my avatar, where he looked at mixed. He wasn't dark, but the dark avatars that they had for Knievel was horrendous. And the racism that is rampant everywhere, even on 3D virtual worlds. The racism is real. All the white avatars always look spectacular, but the black ones, they looked at horrendous. I think that was on purpose, So anyway, I would make my avatar look mixed. I didn't want to have dark skin. I had white boy hair too. I didn't want to have kinky hair. I hated nappy hair. That's what I thought about it, nappy. Because that was what I was programmed with my whole life. I seen it as nappy hair. I didn't see it as woolly hair. I didn't even attribute it to wool. But that is the type of hair that we have. Our hair is like wool, like Yahushua HaMashiach. Like the Ancient of Days. Lila is another, or Jennifer, she is another Gentile that accepted me for who I was. And though she had never been in a relationship with technically another female, though when she first met me, she didn't know that I was a female. She didn't know that until later, like way later off into our relationship. I've confessed it to her. But she still accepted me. And she fell in love with me. And I thought that I fell in love with her too. And in my mind, I did, at that time, how I felt, what I thought love to be. But everything happens for a reason. And this woman has been by my side pretty much the whole time. Even now, in this truth, she's one of my number one supporters. She'll like a video that nobody else likes. She'll go through my profile and like every single video that I posted and make a point to love it. And then a lot of times she'll share it on her own wall. This is a Gentile. A Gentile that has my back more than my own people, it seems. The Most High works in mysterious ways. He uses who he wills, And that's what I started this out talking about. The Most High uses who he wants to use. This truth is going forth in the earth. He said the end will come once it reaches the four corners of the earth. See, the true doctrine have not been spread to the four corners of the earth. Not everybody has heard the true doctrine of Yahushua HaMashiach. There's a lot of people that still have not heard his doctrine, and they're holding tight to the doctrine of Pauline Christianity. Or they're holding tight to Islam, or all these other manipulative religions that have blinded the people. And they refuse to give ear to anything that contradicts what's been instilled into them. It's sad. It's very, very sad. I can't force people to listen. I can't force people to accept what I'm saying. And it's not about what I'm saying. It's about what the Spirit of Truth is saying. Because I'm nothing but a vessel. an imperfect vessel that's willing to hear, that's willing to listen, that's willing to be obedient. I've been able to see for a long time. I just didn't have any direction. Anyway, I'm going to end it on that note. Shalom.